Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to this episode. I don't even know what number episode we're on, but this episode of the Man Therapy Podcast. I am co-host number one. My name is Dan Johnson, and sitting digitally across from me, but in the same town, Kyle Von Trebek. Kyle Von Trebek. On what is it?
Vatrobek.
Vatrobek.
Vatrobek. Vatrobek.
Vatrobek.
Vatrobek.
Vatrobek. Okay.
I like
Now I know.
Robot. That's cool.
Vot Robot. Okay. Cool, dude.
I've never had a good nickname. Have you
You've never had one?
I've never had a good nickname. There's never been a nickname that stuck. Have you ever had a good nickname?
Yes. And I was called it throughout all of high school and college by
What was
my
your
high school
nickname?
friends. Daz.
Daz?
Daz.
Why Daz?
You know what? Okay, so here's the story behind it. All right. So we were, I was playing Little League Baseball, and I made the All-Star team. And then the All-Star team, they get to go travel around, and they travel around and they say, okay, you play the next team's All-Star team, and then basically you get whittled down into whether or not you go to play for the Little League World Series, or if you're good enough to make the Iowa State team, or whatever that is. So that was like late 80s, early 90s. And so I made this All-Star team, and they took our picture, the newspaper took our picture, and then they turned us around and took a picture of the back of our jerseys, so it had our number on it and our last name. Right? So then they came around and said, "What's your first name?" And I just said Daz. I don't know why I said Daz.
It came out of your mouth.
Well, what happened was the N kind of looked, if you rotate an N from Dan and you rotate it sideways, it looks like it says Daz. And so so that's how it started. And then, me and my one of my best friends, Ed, in high school, we gave ourselves kind of these dumbass rapper names.
Oh yeah.
And I was Diggity Daz.
Oh.
And which is actually a rapper from the Dog Pound, like Daz and Corrupt and Snoop Dogg.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, and then my buddy Ed, we just called him Salty Balls. So this is just dumb kid stuff, right?
Oh, yeah.
And so anyway, it stuck. And so there's every once in a while I'll have I say kids, guys who are, that I went to high school with, Daz, what's up, Daz? And I'm just like, hey, dude, long time. The other nickname I had was, after college, I met this guy for the first time. And he was someone I ended up spending a lot of time with throughout like my late 20s, early 30s. He eventually passed away, unfortunately. But the first time I met him, we were at a bar. It was kind of loud, and he was already drunk when I got there. So I shook his hand, and he goes, "I'm Todd. What's your name?" And I said, "My name is Dan." He goes, "Dallas?" And I go, "No, Dan." He goes, "Dallas Fort Worth?" And I go, "Okay." And then I gave up trying to talk to this guy within 5 seconds of meeting him.
Yeah.
And so from that point on, everybody started calling me Dallas Fort Worth. And at the time, I had never even been to Texas.
Right.
So, okay.
Yeah.
But those are the best nicknames.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Impromptu.
Yeah.
Oh, I love it.
And you never had a nickname?
Organic. No nickname ever stuck. Like, one kid in high school would call me like Vadi. People would call me Vatro a little bit, but nothing. I wasn't really known by anything.
Yeah.
My last name's at least my last name's like hard to make up something mean about. One guy, the only funny thing that anybody ever said about my last name. So my last name's Vatrobek. One upperclassman called me Vatro bitch.
Okay.
It didn't stick. He just, when he said it,
tried.
Like, oh, that's the only attempt anybody's ever made at making fun of my last name. So I'll take it.
All right. So this is where we create a challenge for our listeners.
Oh God.
I know this is supposed to be a positive a positive podcast.
Yeah.
But if we out there can find a insult, but it has to be a one word to diss Kyle
Yeah.
using his last name,
Yeah. Something creative.
something very creative.
Yeah.
And you like Johnson. I
Yeah.
mean, it's all the dick innuendos are there
Yeah.
already
Yeah.
with
It's built in.
Johnson.
You're
What
born
a
into
what
it.
a boring name, Dan Johnson. Dan Johnson. Oh, cool. All right, I've met a million of guys just like you. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh,
That's funny.
okay. Listener request.
Yep. You won't be
Listener
able to hurt
request.
my feelings. You go nuts.
Good. All right, Kyle. Last 7 days. What's going on in your life? Last 7 days.
Oh boy, last 7 days I've been working. Just working a
Uh-huh.
ton, and I love it. And every time that I feel like run down or overwhelmed by work, I don't mean to sound like sappy, but I just seriously remind myself how fortunate I am to be able
Yeah.
to be working this hard because I'm
Yeah.
self-employed, so it means the harder I work, the more I work, the more money I make, the better I can provide for my family, the less my wife has to work, the more I can cover all the summer camps and daycares and all the things that everybody needs to do. And um, yeah, it's a good feeling.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
tired,
I'll
but
tell you.
good.
I'll tell you this. That's something huge. Like I honestly think in the United States of America, we are so hashtag blessed that I don't know, man. Like people don't understand how fortunate we are to live where we live and be in this country where it's like, oh my God, what's always funny is we got the left and the right in politics. They're always bitching about something, right? Bitching about each other and whatever. And then you go to another country, nobody's bitching because they can't,
Mm,
right? It's either illegal to bitch or they don't have internet
mm,
or they don't have running water or they don't have a house with a floor.
right,
Like,
right,
come on, people,
right.
just relax a little bit.
Right. Absolutely. That's actually on my bucket list to get out of the country, get off the continent. I've never
Uh-huh.
I've been into Canada for like an afternoon. I've never
Yeah.
even been to Mexico. Have you traveled? Have you been outside of the US?
I've been to Canada one time. Never any. Oh well, if you want to call it, if you want to call it an out of the country experience, I did. I went to St. Lucia.
Mhm.
Oh, 15 years ago or something like that, to one of those all inclusive sandals resorts
Mhm.
with the girl I was dating.
Were they bitching about their dirt floors there?
No, do you want to hear that experience
Sure.
about how like it was a little bit eye opening for me
Okay.
about how other countries kind of operate.
Okay.
So 15 years ago, I'm sure you had them. Back in the day, there was a fad where it was like camouflage. Hey, wait a second. Before I tell this story, I have to say this. In my office right now, it's probably 90 degrees in my office, and I am dripping sweat. So I'm going to do the rest of this. I'm going to keep my shirt on.
Ah,
I know that's what you were
you knew
thinking.
exactly where my mind went. Uh, I was gonna say I'll do it
but
with you.
well, we could do that someday. Um, but I'm going to turn the air conditioner on right now. So
Good.
if there's a little bit of background noise, I have to do it to feel comfortable.
Yeah,
One
do
sec.
it. It's a decision on the fly. That's okay. He was debating if you wanted to do it, pulling the trigger on the AC.
All right. So maybe you can hear it, maybe you can't, and hopefully I'm able to edit it out at the back end. But anyway, all right. So I go to St. Lucia, and back in the day, the fad was camouflage cargo shorts.
Okay.
Everybody had a pair. And so I wore them around and I wore them to St. Lucia. And I get off the plane, I go through, get my baggage and whatever customs that they had there. And I am instantly greeted after I walk kind of out of this little airport area by two dudes with AK-47s. They were dressed in police officers and they told me you are not allowed to wear camouflage on this island because it represents the guerrillas or the uprising that they were trying to throw in some of these other islands, and
Oh.
St. Lucia was one of them.
Oh.
So I unpacked my I unpacked, my bag and I changed shorts and went to the resort. Now, on the way to the resort, like the resort's fancy, it's nice, it's beautiful, right? It's like what what white people not only in Europe but in America want to go do. Meanwhile, in order to get to the resort, we have to drive through these towns, and it is literally ten shanties on this hillside.
Uh-huh.
There are some buildings down below that were created. There's some nice houses scattered in, but majority of the people who habitate the island, however
Inhabit.
many days out of the year, yeah, like they live there all year. They're in tin shanties.
Yeah.
Like they're the ones working at the resorts. They're the ones, pedaling down at the main streets trying to make their money.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, it would suck to live here first and foremost. So the money that is coming in goes to them. It's in some way, shape, or form. And then
Hope so.
we're driving, we're driving down the road, and there is a dead body in the road, a literal dead body in the road. Okay. Um, and I'm like, okay. And the driver's like, oh, he got hit by a car. He got hit by a car trying to cross the street, and they didn't even move the body. It was just kind of on the side of the road. So we're there. We go to the resort. You don't think about it, right? You're having fun in paradise. 7 days later,
Oh,
we come back through.
no.
The body is still there, this time wrapped in a white sheet. You want so there's a little bit of a difference
Oh, yeah.
between what was going on there versus here.
Wow.
And it could be considered a third world country, but like we all go to exploit its beauty, right? So it's just
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
it was crazy. I mean, it was absolutely crazy. You see this body just does not move, and people they don't care. It was crazy at the time.
Wow. So, wow.
Yeah,
I didn't expect you to say that.
yeah.
Wow.
So America,
Wow, dude. Huh.
yeah,
That's really something. I've never heard anything
yeah.
like that.
So you've never been out of the country?
No, no, and I want to. I
No.
want to see. I've actually heard a lot of a lot of stories about how awesome it is to go and have cool experiences and see
Mhm.
neat things, and also that by and large, people that I've talked to that have traveled have been very happy to come home, and that
Yeah.
a lot of people that have been disenfranchised with the United States that go travel end up. And this isn't everybody, but a lot of people that travel end up developing a new appreciation for the United States.
Oh,
Because,
hell yeah.
if you're like me and you've never been out of it, then it's real easy to see all the flaws, of which there definitely are flaws. But I want that experience of being out. I want to go somewhere for a month and go all over the place and see what every other or what lots of other places are like, and then come back and see what I think. I'd be really interested to see what that experience would be like.
Yeah, same. Same. I want to get I mean, obviously, if you had endless dollars, you could travel all over the place and you could go to Brazil because that's Brazil and Argentina and for some reason Chile have always been on my list down in,
Oh.
Southern America.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, but at the same time, like I would love to go to like Southeast Asia. I'd love to go to Russia.
Yeah.
I'd love to go to, do the Europe thing, but I don't know, man. Uh, it's a dollar thing for me at this point.
No, me too.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, I got to work. Oh, bummer.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. So
Yeah.
maybe someday.
Yeah. Maybe someday.
Yeah.
Okay, Kyle, you had a great idea as always. Topic of discussion today. What are we thinking?
Well, I was wondering what has surprised you about life that you didn't anticipate when you were younger? How has life turned out differently than you thought it was going to be? What has the future held for you that you didn't see coming? What's it like being an adult that you just could not have anticipated? Um yeah, what's surprised you about life that you just didn't see coming?
I don't know, man. That's such a loaded question. While I'm thinking about it, do you have an answer that
Boy.
you could go?
Yeah. I didn't expect my body to fall apart. I just totally thought I thought I'd be 18 years old, 16-year-old body, invincible,
Yeah.
forever. I mean, I've never been careful, and I've always been a little bit wild physically,
Hmm.
and I always just bounced right back up.
Yeah.
I had no broken bones until, in my late 20s, I think I got my first broken bone. Um, and then it just was downhill from there. Like early 30s, it
Yeah.
started like, but I just didn't
Yep.
expect I didn't expect my body to give out on me. I Another thing that I didn't anticipate when I was younger. When I was younger, I was just like saturated with friends. I grew up. I lived in the same house my whole life. Born at the hospital in Cedar Rapids, brought home. My parents still live in that house that I grew up in. The school that I went to is now the school that our kids go to. It was K through 12. I knew all of those kids growing up forever. Then I chose to stay in the area. I never moved away. Just like very saturated with friends. And then, after high school, like people went like all over the place. And then
Yeah.
and then even more and more and more and more so. And so that's been another thing that surprised me is I kind of thought that life was going to be a lot more hanging out with friends than it's turned out to be. Those are
Yeah.
those are two things. Oh, another thing, and we can come back to any of these things.
Hmm.
Another thing that is really weird, and it's a thing that we could anticipate, but you just don't, is just what it's like to see your parents age.
Great,
That,
great topic.
that's a
Yeah.
weird one.
Yeah. Yeah. That is not like I'm watching my parents change physically, gray hair, face, all that stuff. My parents had me when they were younger. So my mom was 21 or 22. My dad was 25, I believe. And so I they're still in their 60s. Like my dad turned 70 this summer, and
Okay.
we're doing a family deal, and because my brother's turning 40. So um so
Mm,
I'm watching that, but my my in-laws, they're in their 70s, they're in their uh mid 70s, they're every day getting closer to 80. But
yeah.
my father-in-law, he's still very active, slowing down a little bit. My mother-in-law, she's slowed down quite a bit. Very kind and generous, and still sharp in the mind for the
Yeah.
most part.
Yeah.
But physically, 75 years old. And what
Yeah.
do you expect? Right.
Yeah.
And so um, that is something that my dad has already completed. So I hope we have a conversation, or he talks to me a little bit about it, because he's both of my grandparents on my dad's side are gone.
Mhm.
Okay. One died, I don't even know how many years ago now, of like a little bit of mix of dementia and Alzheimer's.
Mhm.
And then my grandma, dude, she used to wear these like jackets that were almost like big starter jackets.
Oh, yeah.
And she was 89 or something like that, gets out of a car, going to coffee with her friends at the local thing, gust of wind catches the car door, blocks her over, breaks her hip, dead in like 2 days.
Oh my god.
Crazy. Yeah.
Jeez.
So, yeah. So my dad's already gone through all that
Yeah.
kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Um, and my mom lost her dad already, but my other grandma's still alive. She's 88 now,
Mm,
still kicking,
mm,
still fireball,
mm.
but slowing down. So yeah, watching that, no one ever talks about it. Like my mom maybe talks about it a little bit, but my dad never did, or never does.
Yeah. Yeah. It's strange. It's strange to compute it in real time and to be digesting it in real time. And
Hmm.
I I'm I don't have a much of a template for it. My grandparents, watching them fade was really sad. All of my grandparents were awesome. I was super fortunate. And I knew my great grandmothers, and I even knew a great great grandmother or two. There's a lot of longevity in the females in my family, but there's something different about your parents though. Like
Hmm.
grandparents, they're supposed to be old. They always felt
They're
old.
they're they're you're expected.
Yeah.
They're expected.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they were old when I was a kid. I just kind of always saw them as old. My parents though, I didn't always see them as old, so it's just really
Right.
strange to see them slowing down and see the
Mhm.
physical changes that they're going through, and, luckily, they're still pretty sharp mentally, and also, luckily, they live really close to me, so I get to see them, but, it's just there's a there's a mixture of sadness and kind of the pre-contemplative grief. That's there's a grief cycle that happens before you lose someone, the anticipatory grief, because you can see
Mhm.
it coming, and not that it's going to be even in the next few years or anything, but like, it's just you know that it's coming at some point, so that's happening, and then you're also simultaneously trying to be happy and enjoying them, and
Mhm.
like having those two feelings exist at the same time is really strange, and I'm trying not to ignore it. I'm trying to, like, allow it to wash over me and allow it to exist when it does, because I wanna have the full experience of it, and I don't wanna be blindsided by, um, painful events that I could have been prepared for, but I was just choosing to not be looking
Yeah.
at them, and, it's also not that dissimilar from th the pain that I feel when I watch my kids grow up. That on the one hand, it's like so cool. I love everything they do. Every new milestone they reach, every 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 time I notice them looking older and acting like an older kid or a bigger kid, it's cool and it warms my heart. And then there's also a grief process that happens there, because you're grieving your little kids being gone, that you'll never have again. And their their little voices change to more mature voices, and they stop mispronouncing those words that they used to mispronounce, and it was so cute, and that's just like how you know them, and then at some point they
Yeah.
end up correcting themselves, and they used to be so carefree, and they start to become a little self-conscious, so it's like that process is happening in different ways on both ends of life, and it's really trippy.
It is trippy as shit, dude. And there's a saying, or it's not a saying, it's a quote from somebody, I don't know, but it's the best and the worst part of life is actually the same thing, and it's watching your kids grow up.
Mm.
That is when you realize that, like, you go downstairs. So two things have really stuck out to me um in this timeline that we live.
Mhm.
And one of them is, how are you reacting now to something? If you go forward 10, 20 years and you were able to look back at this moment, how do you feel that you would have reacted?
Yeah.
Right? Is that, oh, you handled that perfectly, or you handled it like a dipshit, or
Yeah.
whatever the case is, right? So especially with my kids, um, my kids or my parents, for example, it's like, if you only see them at Christmas and Thanksgiving and they're 70, let's just say two times a year, and you have 20 years left, you're only going to see them, what, 40 more times
Yeah. Yeah,
in
it's not
your
about
life,
years, it's about time.
you know?
Yeah.
And so it's like, when you look at it that way, you're like, holy cow. But at the same time, I feel like the second you get married and have your own children, you're on a different plane now. Your focus goes away from anything that you used to have to go 100% focused on this. Although for me, my grandparents played such a huge role in my life
Mm.
that I want my kids to experience their grandparents the way that I experienced my grandparents.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so it's such a crazy thought. It's just trying to, but really, I want to hear your take on this. I feel like it comes down to personality traits of how people handle these moments, like watching your parents age or watching your kids age, right? Like, some people can handle it.
Yeah.
They can be prepared for it. And some people can just completely fall apart when bad things happens and they'll never recover from it.
Yeah. 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 I'm focusing on intentionality. Like I'm purposefully wanting to get together just to have the experiences, and making it happen. And I do it on both ends. Like so with my parents, I'll just randomly call and ask what they're doing for dinner because my parents live so close. They live like 4 miles from me.
Yep.
Um, and also, luckily my mom loves to watch my kids, so I get to see them.
Yep.
But I will just purposefully ask if they want to get together and hang out. What are you doing for dinner? What are you doing for lunch? Want to meet at the local restaurant for breakfast or coffee or whatever? Just because
Hmm.
I'm trying to get those times in.
Yep.
It's really
Yep.
important. And I'm even now as I'm talking about it, I'm like broadening the scope in my mind to think of like, these lifelong best friends that I have that I see once every number of months. And I'm like, oh my God, I don't, how many times do I see them a year? How many years do I have left? How many times do I have left to see my lifelong best friends? And
Yeah.
so that makes me think like, okay, I can be purposeful in inviting them to do things and getting together with them. Then in the on the other end of the spectrum with my kids, just dude, I'm trying so hard to absorb every moment, while they'll have me, while they're not, shoving me away. If my daughter's laying on the couch, I'll just go and cuddle with her. If
Hmm.
my son's sitting there playing Nintendo or something, I just grab him and pull him on my lap while I can, because he's little.
Yep.
You know him; he's just skin and bones. He's
Hmm.
not a big
Yep.
dude yet. I'm not gonna pull him on my lap when he's 15. you know?
Right.
And so I have, not a lot of days left, not a lot of years left, I mean, of being able to cuddle with my kids or pull them onto my lap. And so I'm like, since I know that, I'm trying really hard to do all those sorts of things, lay with them at night to get them to sleep and cuddle with them and just pick them up and carry them and all that sort of thing because I know there's going to be a time when none of that happens anymore and I don't want to look back with regret. So I'm trying really hard to be purposeful about doing it.
Yeah. I, I kind of look at life like there it's phases of connection and
Mhm.
reconnection.
Mm.
And what I mean by that is like, so I am in connection phase with my kids right now. Like,
Mhm.
I honestly, if some of my friends were like, "Hey, let's go to have a weekend somewhere," I'd just be like, "No, dude, I'm busy." Like, I don't like. All I really want to do is hang out with my kids and my wife.
Yeah.
Honestly,
Yeah.
that's all I want to do.
Right.
Maybe throw in like a hunting trip in there for me or something like that.
Yeah.
But what I'm getting at is like the kids are going to eventually move out of the house and they're going to start their own journey that we all went through at one point.
Yeah.
And now it becomes a time of reconnection. And for me, I'm thinking like additional reconnection with my wife, reconnection with old friends, close, new friends, neighbors, things like that, where the chaos of having three kids and activities and growing up, hell, it might even be a time of reconnection with parents.
Mhm.
My mom has kind of done that since we were out of the house, where she spent a lot of time, especially since my mom is retired, reconnecting with her mom while she's still alive and going up there and spending time with her
Yeah.
and sometimes transporting her to grandkids event or great grandkids events for her.
Wow.
And so she can feel included in that. So my mom's putting in a ton of effort with her mom to try to get, spend as much time with her as possible
Yeah.
with a 2 hour drive.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Absolutely. Hmm. Now, what do you think about what it takes to have your kids want to stay connected to you as you get older? Because that's not the case for everybody. And I've seen it
no, it's
happen
not.
both ways that some people are spending as much time as they can with their aging parents, and some aging parents are like hardly ever getting visited.
Right. So if you have a family in Denver, Colorado, and your aging grandparents are in New York City, dude, I mean, what do you expect? I mean, you when you moved away, and I think what happens is there's a lot of people who they make decisions that they think are going to be easy. And then when the long game hits, it's like, holy shit, now what about all this other part of my life that I almost axed? You know
Yeah.
what I mean? If
Yeah.
that makes sense. So
Yeah.
distance plays a huge role. And then here we go with this therapy type shit. I would say like resentment and trauma.
Hmm.
are huge.
Oh
And
yeah.
that would be so if my dad, by the way, my dad is a great dude. Like he's such an awesome dude. So this never happened. I'm saying, let's say, for example,
Hypothetical.
my dad was an asshole to me, just a piece of shit to me. And he treated me bad. He treated my mom bad. He treated my brother bad. Of course, I'm going to hold that. And when I get a chance, I'm gone. And then when I'm gone, it's just like, now what?
Yeah.
Like I don't care about what happens to him because he didn't care about me when he had the opportunity.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Yeah. You know what I actually see more than so that sentiment makes a ton of sense. Over the years, the clients that I've worked with, I've actually seen a lot more of them having really conflicting feelings. And oftentimes they will begrudgingly take care of them. They'll feel this duty to
I'm
them.
here because I'm here because I have to
Yeah,
be.
pretty much. They'll feel sorry
Yep.
for them, and so it'll be like, I'm doing things for this person that I don't even like or respect, but I would feel really guilty not doing these things because now this person's helpless. Like, yeah, back in the
Yep.
day when he was like an abusive asshole, he was an intimidating physical presence, and now he's like, bedridden and he's none of that anymore. And I still have all of this resentment towards him, but I can't turn a blind eye to the fact that he can't take care of himself. So then they're in this position of just begrudgingly taking care of this person. And man, it's sad.
I've seen that firsthand, dude.
Yeah.
And it's just now it's two things. It's resentment, and you can sit here and you can hold that resentment in towards that person who maybe treated you poorly, but at the end of the day, it's almost a version of love to be able to you I still resent this person for doing this thing to me, but I in a way I still love them for what they've provided me throughout the years, although it may not have been tr- the truth. I still maybe love this person. I'm going to bitch and complain about it, but I'm still going to do it
Yeah.
because maybe in a way I still love this person. I
Yep.
don't know.
It could be. I also kind of wonder if I'm sure there's probably still love involved, but I could also see it be like it's a personal value of mine to not let someone suffer, and this person feels like my responsibility, so I'll take care of them even though I don't really want to. And a lot of values driven behaviors are like, I'm not doing this because you deserve it. I'm
Mhm.
doing this because this is the type of person that I am. And so that's
Right.
I see that a lot in the clients that I've worked with over the years of like, oh, my dad was a piece of shit and he was an abusive asshole and he abused my mom and I actually fucking hate him. But he's
Yeah.
bedridden and I'm the type of person that doesn't just let somebody lay and rot, so I'm gonna take care of him. I'm gonna set all of the nurses to come in and do all of the things and the med management and the appointments. But I'm not doing that because he deserves any of it. I'm doing that
Yep.
because that's the type of person that I am. So I
Yeah.
I, I appreciate the values driven behaviors.
And sometimes maybe it's not even any of those two things. It's I'm doing this so I don't look bad.
Oh, that happens too.
You know what? It's like
Performative. Oh,
I hate this guy. I hate him to the ground. I
yeah,
hope he dies.
yeah,
But I don't want to look bad. So
right.
I'm gonna keep doing it.
Yeah. Ugh.
Pause 1 second. I gotta go shut a window because I'll be right back.
You bet. Station break. We're in a heat wave. I'm lucky to have nice, quiet air conditioning.
Siding guys were supposed to show up on Monday and it's Friday and now they show up as we're starting to record. So
You're
anyway,
getting new siding?
yep, getting new
Look
siding.
at you.
Yep.
All
Thank
right.
thank you, hail damage.
Yeah, yeah. All right. What color are you
Okay.
going with?
Back to white.
Yeah.
Yep. Back to white. Yep.
Wow.
So big things going on
For
over
real.
here
Oh,
at
I can't wait to
the
swing by and
Johnson
see.
house. Yep. Okay. I'm sorry for interrupting that
You're
there,
good.
but one thing I kind of want to talk about Okay. First off, say say what we're talking about once again, so
Right. What?
we're back on the same page because we
Right.
went on
But
a rant there.
yeah, and we'll rant whenever we feel like it. But the
Yep.
general topic for today is what has surprised you about life that you didn't anticipate when you were younger?
Yes. Okay. So when I think of the word younger, I
Mhm.
think of like as a kid, like 18 and younger.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
But really, you're like 18 years, 17 years is such a short period of time. Like, I don't even consider myself physically, I was a man at 18. Uh, mentally, I wasn't a man until like 30,
Right.
31. Okay. So, one thing that I didn't realize, and I don't necessarily blame it on my parents, because my parents went through, my mom and dad got divorced when I was the summer between second and third grade. And then my mom got remarried and then divorced again sometime. Oh, Jesus, I must have been in high school or something like that. I can't really remember. Um, and so I, uh, they never talked to me about marriage.
Mm.
They never said what went wrong. They never said what things to do right.
Wow.
And so,
Wow.
really, and I think this is the case for most people, I'm assuming that no one ever sits down and prepares you for what marriage actually is, what it means,
Mm.
right?
Mm.
And when you take a vow, right? You're saying these vows should mean something. It shouldn't be, hey, we're having a wedding, which is symbolic, and it's just some words that are said. It actually should mean something. And how to communicate with your spouse and how to um work together to raise a family. Like, no one ever talked to me at all
Yeah.
about like the best parts of the marriage or the worst parts of the marriage,
Right.
right? So really, as a kid, I only saw marriage in a light where, man, it was a struggle
Mm.
for people. And so I wish people would have talked to me more, because one thing I realized about being married, it is extremely difficult at times. There's times, if you have the right person, um it could probably be easy. But there are even times in an easy marriage that you have to be able to communicate. And I just feel like I was not prepared for that by my parents,
Yeah.
which like marriage. I don't know about you, dude, but there's times marriage is really fun and exciting and I'm happy. But there's also the opposite side of that on the teeter totter or the pendulum, where marriage is extremely stressful, hard, and difficult. You throw kids into the mix and things like that. So,
Oh yeah.
um, I wish I would have had more knowledge about what it takes to actually be married and be able to communicate with my spouse.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. I actually think that we could do a whole episode on this, on
Yeah.
what does marriage mean, and what would you tell your kids. And
Mhm.
so I will just ask you, like, what, like, has this entered into your parenting yet? Have
100%.
you talked to your have you been openly talking to your kids about conflict management and what it's like to be married, and how
Yes,
has it come into your parenting?
yeah, conflict management, yes. There's conflicts every day about every little thing, right? Whether it's so and so isn't sharing the Nintendo controller bullshit, or like big life decisions like, okay, well, I'm going to teach you that if you make a decision and make a promise to somebody, let's just insert a sports team here,
Yeah.
you're not going to quit that sports team until the season is over,
Mhm.
right? I'm not going to have you come in, make a commitment to somebody, and then break it, right? And so I feel like that is a stepping stone for business and life and even marriage further down the road for them,
Yeah.
but setting a foundation of commitment, what it's like to commit to a thing and not just running away from something every time you feel a struggle or things get difficult. Dude, you got to buck up sometimes and handle it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Promises in your word, how I grew up, if someone said they were going to do something for you, then you do that thing,
Yeah.
or you hold them accountable, like, okay, dude. And then that tells me what kind of person you are, right? It's like, hey man, will you come help me um fix my deck. Yes, dude, I'll be there. And then you don't show up. I'm just like, okay, well, you made a promise to me. I could have got somebody else. Now I'm working solo today.
Yeah. Yeah.
Whatever the case is, enter in any scenario here.
Right.
So,
Right.
yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So you're not talking to them directly about marriage and relationships yet, but you are talking about the foundational building blocks of what they're gonna need.
Like friendships. I'll talk to them about friendships.
Mm-hmm.
And so friendships like, I don't know, like, oh, so and so is mean to me. Okay, well, why are they mad? Maybe you need to ask them why they're mad. Maybe it's not directed at you, it's from something else. Did you do something bad to them? Right? Did you warrant did you Because sometimes emotions are warranted, sometimes they're not.
Yeah.
Sometimes people make a mountain out of a molehill,
Mm-hmm.
and sometimes it could be, hey, dude, I'm sorry, high five, walk away.
Right.
Right?
Right.
But then you got girls versus boys and how they handle drama and shit like that. Like I literally saw my oldest son and another kid have a fight at the bus stop, and then an hour later they're playing in the backyard. So that's boys, right? Now my daughter, she has some drama go down, and it's like it's quiet. It's quiet between them for maybe a week,
Mm-hmm.
and then it was because of the parents that's like, you guys are friends. Why are you doing this to each other? And then I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Oh, let's hug. Okay, we're friends again. Like that kind of stuff. So the conversations are there, and hopefully that is a prep step for them in life.
Uh-huh.
I don't know. You?
Good.
What about you?
Yeah. Yeah. I try really hard to point out the things that they do well
Mm-hmm.
and tell them how, like, anytime they do something good that makes me feel good, I try to just like make note of it out loud so that they know that.
Yeah.
Anytime that they do something that I think is not healthy socially, I don't just let it slide. Um, I try to point that out. My kids are so young that it's hard for them to just like learn lessons if I want to sit down and like impart wisdom. Like my
Yeah.
7-year-old like doesn't want to sit and hear a lecture. And so I try to keep it really short and sweet. And sometimes I'll even just like role model, like if he's not being fun to play with, I'll give him like a couple of opportunities to turn that behavior around and be really clear about what he's doing and why it's not fun for me and why I don't think that would be fun for like peers, if he's playing with his friends. And if he doesn't
Yeah.
turn it around, then I'll stop playing with him,
Yeah.
and I'll tell him exactly why. And I'll tell him, if he wants to play again later and behave differently, that I'd be happy to do that. But I'm not just gonna, I'm trying to be like a real world example of what's going to happen if he behaves like that. Cause he's just like super competitive and, you know, wants to play
Yeah.
to win instead of play to have fun. And I want him to know there's a time and a place for both of those things because you can't play to win at the detriment of your friendships. You have to have a sense of like when it's time to be cutthroat and when it's time to like play hard and want to win, but also have a bunch of fun with your friends.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Lessons learned.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And so look, I feel like my parents did really like both played a role in a huge role, obviously in the person that I am in. And I wish that, and as a man, with this being the man therapy podcast, I wish my dad would have talked to me a little bit more about women.
Uh-huh.
You want to hear a funny story?
Yeah.
So did you ever get the sex talk from your dad?
No.
No. Okay.
Mm.
So here was my sex talk from my dad. He comes in the room, and I think my mom, so they were divorced at the time, but I think my mom was like pressuring him, like, you got to have the talk with him. You got to have the talk. And he was like, Jesus Christ. You're like,
Yeah.
I'll have the talk with him. Get off my back.
Yeah.
And he comes in. I can remember I was in our computer. We had this little small room in our house at the time, and I was on there. And I was playing this video game where it's basically arrows and spacebar.
Okay.
That
Oh
was
yeah.
it.
Yep.
And my dad comes in and he goes, Daniel. I go, yeah. He goes, do you know what a condom is? And I go, yeah. And he goes, okay. Then he turns around and walks away. And that was it.
Oh man. Perfect.
And I was just like, and I think I understood because that's kind of how he was. And I was just like, okay, like, I guess I should be using condoms.
Yeah.
Like, I guess
Yeah.
he
Yeah.
didn't tell me you should be,
Right.
but I
Right.
was like, okay, cool.
Yeah.
All right. Good talk, dad.
Oh my gosh, that's funny. As you walk away, you hear mumble under his breath, "They suck."
Yeah. Yeah. Right. Oh, God. I haven't used one. I've never used one.
Yeah, yeah, what it is. Next line's like, "Can you teach me?" Like, "Oh, geez, man."
Yeah.
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 Ew, don't need to go in that way.
Uh,
No, that's funny.
okay. All right. So, parents, like, I feel like my parent, I wish I would have learned more about real life, like things that were upcoming from my parents.
Uh-huh.
But let me ask you this question. If your parents were there to guide you through every experience in your life and you never had to handle, like, you never had to handle a experience like a raw experience, okay?
Uh-huh.
Do you think that you would be the person that you are today with, like, because there's sometimes in life you have to just like figure shit out.
Yeah, yeah. No, I agree with that. I think it depends on how the parent helps the kid handle it. I think there's a
Yeah.
big difference between, like, coddling and, like, kind of a supportive coach or a mentor. I think I like the idea of being in a mentor position for my kids, knowing that life's gonna throw them curveballs that they have to deal with, but it's really nice to have somebody to look to that doesn't jump in and save you and solve your problems. Um, I think that most kids would probably fare better if they were left to their own devices less. If they were left to figure things out on their own less often and had a mature mentor to help them think things through, I think there'd be a lot fewer dumb decisions. I think life could be navigated a lot better. I think a thing that doesn't get talked about enough, and I could be wrong, feel free to check me on this, but is like family values. Like, this is how we deal with this sort of thing, and this is how we feel about this and that, so that you have like a template that you can apply to lots of different things instead of having to reinvent the wheel every single time something comes up. um I don't know how much parents are like
Yeah.
imparting wisdom and family values nowadays. I hope a lot, but I think
Yeah.
that could have
I
been
think,
really like my mom did a lot of that. Like, you will tell the truth, you will work hard, you will be you will be honest, you will be a good friend. Like, she would do it. My mom did a lot of that, and that really helped me forge a lot of it helped me concretize important parts of my character and personality. But if I wouldn't have had her doing that and being so strict about, like, you will be honest, you will be a good person, I might have veered from a straight path a lot more than I did.
right. I've seen that, dude. Like, there's some people that I used to hang out with. I don't hang out with them much anymore, but they had very loose morals.
Mhm.
And I'm not saying that they were bad people,
Right.
but they maybe did some things that were right on that fringe.
Mhm.
And their kids kind of turned out to be the same way.
Mhm.
Right. And so they see that. Now, from I don't know, I'm sure you can hear them ripping the siding
I
off of my
can't.
house right
I
now.
can't.
You can't? Good. I'm so
Yeah.
happy because it's literally, here's my wall,
Yeah.
and they're like hitting my house with a hammer
Yeah.
right now. It's crazy. Anyway,
I can
so
hear
I'm
it.
sorry for distracting,
No, you're
but
good.
um, I think there's this balance, and this is where I'm. I think as a parent, I struggle. Is there's this balance between, am I raising a kid, or am I preparing a kid for adulthood?
Yeah.
Like, a baby can't defend itself,
Right.
so you have to take care of it.
Yeah.
But as kids get older, dude, they're going to have to handle some difficult situations in their life in order to be prepared to handle them again
Yeah.
when they come.
Yeah.
And the next, like, pressure, dude, pressure.
Yep.
That's one thing I wish someone, like, I think my parents did an excellent job in preparing me for high pressure situations,
Yeah. How?
having me, like, just the life I lived, having them in a high pressure situation. So like when my mom and dad got divorced, that was at a young age. I wish I experienced a high pressure situation.
Uh-huh.
Sometimes it was in control, sometimes it was out of control.
Uh-huh.
We also had another the second divorce my mom went through was another high pressure situation, right? That dude, you want to hear? Here's a crazy story, and I think if my mom ever listens to this,
Yeah.
she will get a little bit. I hope she's not embarrassed, but it was one of the coolest things that me and my brother ever witnessed out of my mom.
Okay.
So me and my mom were in taekwondo, or me and my mom, uh, my stepdad at the time, and my brother were all in this taekwondo class.
Okay.
Okay, and so we are coming out of taekwondo, and out of nowhere, this woman comes up and is like, I heard you're sleeping with my husband. And my mom's like, who are you? Like, who are you? And that, like, my mom would not do this. Okay. It's like, if I could, if I can, like some people could look at their moms and go, maybe,
Yeah. Mom.
I'm going to be honest. I'm going to be honest. Like some people could be,
Yeah.
maybe I could see that,
Right.
but I don't see that with I don't see that with my
Right.
mom.
Right.
Okay. So this woman is in my mom's face, and she's like, there's another guy like trying to hold her back. My stepdad at the time is like he's just kind of sitting back waiting for some shit to go down. And my mom slaps this chick across the face and goes, don't swear in front of my kids, and just crushes this chick.
Yeah.
Whoom. And,
Wow.
and that was a very high pressure situation
Yeah.
when I was 10, 11, 12, 13 years old, something like that.
Yeah.
And it was absolutely crazy. So that I've been in situations with guns when I was in college where
Yeah.
I had a gun pulled on me and a group of people.
Uh-huh.
So high pressure situations. And now the more high pressure situations that you've been in, then a high pressure situation to me and a high pressure situation to, let's say, someone like
Yeah.
my wife or my kids, it's minuscule.
Right.
So I know how to handle it.
Right. Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah. So exposure in controlled or safer environments is really important. It's nice to be able to like get out and about and live some life with your parents and see how they deal with those really stressful situations. Provides at least a little bit of a template for you. Than if you live just like a really peaceful, quiet, coddled, sheltered life, then anything that comes up is going to be overwhelming.
Yeah. Yeah. It's it's just like the environment that you live in, right? It's if you live in a very high pressure environment, you're probably going to think certain high pressure to somebody else is going to be, oh, dude, what are you talking about?
Right.
Like this isn't abuse.
Right.
This was abuse.
Right.
Like this isn't. So like anytime I'm like mad to my kids, or they're like, you're being mean to us. I like, do you know what being mean is? And maybe I shouldn't do this. I want to hear what your thoughts are this. So my second or my second or my the guy that my mom married after my dad
Uh-huh.
would always slap us on the back of the head and call us dumbasses for any bad decision that we would do, slap us on the head. And it wasn't a soft slap. I'm not going to say it was abuse. Maybe it was, I don't know. But he would slap us on the back of the head and he'd be like, quit being a dumbass. Like that kind of stuff.
Uh-huh.
And so when I grab my kids and I put them in a corner and I get in their face and I'm saying, you cannot do that, you shouldn't do that, and they get mad at me, I'm just like, come on. This is not you're not, I'm not being mean to you. I'm parenting. This is called parenting,
Right.
not abuse.
Right.
So
Yeah. Yeah. No, I hear you. Yeah, I think sometimes we do have to be stern with our kids.
mhm.
Yeah, and we've addressed like spanking and physical
Yeah,
discipline
before.
in a previous podcast, but yeah.
Yeah. Where do we go? So what else in your life do you wish like, or that maybe you didn't realize was difficult or maybe even easy? I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah. Huh.
What does Kyle wish that he knew now as a 40, a 40-year-old
42.
early 40-year-old that maybe he wish he would have known or that he could have prepared for, like maybe even before marriage or before children or before
Yeah.
he hit 30 or something like that.
Yeah. I think I wish that I would have been more encouraged to do things according to my aptitudes. I had a I think a lot of people could relate to this. Like my parents were awesome, so they would say, "Oh, you can do anything." Like, "Oh, you're so smart, you're so this and that, you can do anything." And like that's really nice, but there's no sense of direction there. Like if you have 50 paths in front of you, it's really hard to know which one to take. Um, I felt really lost. I felt really clueless. I did really well in school, and I know that I'm smart enough and personable enough and all of these things, but I didn't know where to like point that. You know what I mean? And so I wish that I would have had some sense of direction or what the hell to do with my life. I think of a lot of people are in that. A lot of people operate that way, and you know I'm a firm believer in if you don't know what you want to do in the future, just whatever you're doing now, do it well. Do something productive while you're waiting for the next opportunity to come. Like, don't just sit on your hands. You know, like there's more productive ways to like sit in limbo in life rather than just like not doing anything for yourself. But I had no clue what I wanted to do. So I did well in school because like that's what was in front of me, but it wasn't really preparing me for anything. I wish that I would have been encouraged to take more risks. I think I played it really safe. I think I fell into the trap of well, doing things that I knew that I'd be good at and staying within my comfort zone instead of taking risks to do things. A, a way that I try to approach this with my kids a little bit differently, and I don't go overboard with this, but I'm always trying to like notice and speak back to them like what they like and what they're good at and what that could translate to in the future, and notice things that come really easily to them and notice things that they really like so that they are aware of those things. A lot of people, I think if you ask them like, "Oh, what do you like or what are you really good at?" They're like, "Oh, I don't really know." But I'm trying to tell my kids what they're good at and what they notice, and I watch them with their friends, and I talk with their teachers, and I'm always asking those types of questions of people around them. Um, and so I'm trying to give my kids that sort of knowledge about themselves so that they'll maybe have that knowledge base to draw from when they're trying to make life decisions. Because I honestly feel like I just fell into the career that I have, and it's a good one, for sure. And there's parts of it that I definitely love. But I think we've mentioned in previous podcasts, like I'd probably be a lot happier like out in the woods, like building trails and stuff. And I didn't see my wants as actual pathways. And I wish I would have had more guidance around identifying how to turn your interests in life into a real pathway.
I get that, dude. I get that. Like, and I wish I would have done it earlier,
Yeah.
to be honest with you. Um, what a young kid, 20-year-old Dan Johnson, out partying hard, right? Chasing girls, just even into like before I met my wife, just 11 years there. I'm going to guess it was about 11 years of just hardcore partying in my 20s, 30s, and even teens, where what I did was feel like I was going to live forever and I'm going to do this. Like, I'm just going to go crazy, buck wild. I'm going to have this awesome life. Dude, I'm just going to, and then money meant like, I'm going to be rich and I'm going to do all this stuff when in all actuality, time is flying by. And I go from the party mode to dad mode to 44-year-old to now I'm looking back and I'm going, I wasted 11 years of my life that I could have been doing something
Yeah.
like going to all these national parks that I want to go to,
Yeah.
go doing more hunting trips, fishing, spending time with my brother or my family, or making new friends, or
Yeah.
but yet I was kind of controlled by this party alcohol scene, and I was just like, this is. And now I look back at this, and now I say I wish I stopped drinking earlier.
Yeah. Right.
Okay,
Yeah.
and so it's just I wish I wish, right? Like, let's. Why don't you wish in your what do they say
Yeah.
it that one
Wish in
movie?
one hand,
Wish in
spit
your
in the
hand,
other.
yeah, and see which one gets filled up
Yeah.
first, right?
Yep.
And so I don't know, man. It's just one of these things where I feel like everybody has a different path in life
Yeah.
to make them who they're supposed to be at this exact moment.
Yeah.
And if that moment for you, if you're listening to this or you hear this, if that moment for you, you're in a very low spot, just know there's always an up.
Yeah.
There's always like you can always go up.
Yeah.
You can also always go down.
Yeah.
There is a low. There's lower lows than what you're at. And I think that it just takes a simple moment of self-reflection to maybe turn that around.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know, maybe, maybe sometimes self-reflection comes at ultimate lows, or it comes in a very like a chaotic time where you don't even maybe it's there and gone and you don't even know it
Yeah.
because you're so
Yeah.
in a world of chaos.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I'm interested in that. I wonder if there's research around that. Like, when do people find clarity? There have been things that I've struggled with, like trying to get back in shape or trying to eat better. And like, the whole time I'm engaging in behaviors that I know aren't good. And there have been a
Right.
few very specific times in my life where something just clicked and I was like, no more, not doing
Yep.
this anymore. And I just
Yep.
stopped. And I stopped doing the bad things and stopped for like a year or two or something. Did really, really well. And
Yep.
I wish I could bottle that. I wonder what
Yeah.
the circumstances under which that happens is, because I that would be really helpful. I'm gonna look into that actually.
My guess is that it comes from that repetitive behavior comes from some kind of addiction, or it comes from just being sad all the time. So what caused me to want to get out, like start my own business and go and do that, because I was number one, I was leaving my kids every single day and going to a job that I absolutely hated. I sat in a cubicle for 9 hours a day, right? 4 hours, have a lunch, an hour lunch, then another 4 hours of work. And I didn't give a shit about anything that I was doing. Right? I didn't care about the clients I was working with. I didn't care about like the business itself. I met some really good people working where I worked
Yeah.
for, you know, however long I was there at my last job, throughout my entire working career, actually. But then outside of that, it's just like I sat in a cubicle for almost 10 years and I hated every single second of it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Felt like I was in a cage
Yeah.
and I was just like, take that jump now. I should have taken that jump
Yep.
a long time ago
Yeah.
to do something.
Yeah.
Take a jump because I waited to take a jump in my life at a point where I had kids, I had a wife, I had bills, I had a mortgage, I had car payments.
Yeah.
So you take a risk with that.
Oh yeah.
Now you're not only affecting yourself, you're um affecting
Yeah. Your family.
others.
Yeah.
So that is going to be that's going to be one message that I'm, especially my boys. And I don't know, like I have this message planned out for my boys as they get older
Hmm.
and um as they're able to understand it a little bit more about how, and that's kind of goes back to, I wish my dad would have talked to me more about these certain things.
Yeah.
I am going to be talking about this to specifically my boys.
Yeah. Absolutely. Love it. Well,
Yep.
I feel like we should probably wrap up pretty soon because I actually have to prep for my first client
Yep.
today. But dude,
Yep.
I appreciate you, man. Thank you
Yep.
for your openness. Thanks for sharing your personal stuff.
Yeah. We got to get you talking about that a little bit
Oh
more.
yeah?
Like we got to switch the roles someday, and I go therapist mode,
Okay.
which is probably dangerous.
Let's do it. Let's do it.
And and then instead of you being client, it'd be like more like victim
Yeah.
because I'd probably give people wrong answers like, yeah, you should quit your job, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude, move to California
Yeah, dude,
or whatever.
whatever.
Like, do it. Just roll with it, dude.
Yep.
So, hey, great conversation. Nice little. I call these a BS session.
Yeah.
Is what I call these.
Yeah.
All right. And so, Kyle, man, I really appreciate you as always. Thank you for taking time out of your day to do this.
Love it.
If you are listening, please go to iTunes. Now that we are up and running, go to iTunes, go to Spotify, leave us a 5-star review. Let everybody know that you've been cured by listening to
You're
this
welcome.
podcast. Yep, you're welcome, dude. And and um and share with your friends, guys. So good vibes, and we'll talk to you next week.